And we will go ahead and get started. Welcome to Tableau Live. I'm Heather Datillo. I will be your host today and answering some questions as well. And we have Chris Cox here, our Tableau Ninja Master and Mentor, and formerly known as in our Boulder Tableau user groups as the Chump, Stump the Chump, is how this Tableau Live came about. So we are going to go ahead and get started. We're super excited that you could all join. We have been playing around with different Zoom formats to decide where we want to land on these Tableau Live monthly sessions. And we've decided to do a Zoom meeting. So you fill out your registration form and you can join us. So you do have full control over your mute. And if you want your video on as well too, we are excited to have any of our clients join us anytime, and anybody that wants to be a client with us. You're our friends and we're here to help you. We always say the best way to learn Tableau is to play with it, and the best way to play is with a friend. So we're your TFFs, your Tableau friends forever. So we're looking forward to another Tableau Live session today. So if you do have questions, across the bottom of your screen, you should see a chat option. You can put questions into chat, or you can you can also find that there is some check marks and different things in the ways to participate at the bottom of the screen too. But just come off mute if you have a question as well. But I am going to start with the first question, Chris, that came in this week. Let me pull that back up. I had that open earlier. And we had a question from Matt from Oz Minerals, or OZ Minerals. And he was talking about that they have an issue with their Tableau dashboards not showing the latest version of the data when connected to a live data source through Snowflake. So users are forced to use the Tableau refresh button for the latest version of the data to appear. So for some reason, the system seems to be caching data. Are there any design principles we should be adopting from both Tableau desktop and Tableau server point of view? So I know, Chris, we had, you had found an article. I have that article here ready to go as well. But just thought maybe you might want to talk about your theory as to what's happening. And I don't see that he is on the call, but so we'll make sure that this recording gets posted too.
So and in this article, you can post this in the chat for everybody to have it. But my guess is that your server, your Tableau server is set to be in this balanced mode. So when it's set that way, it means it's going to try to use the cache. So it's not a desktop change. It's not Snowflake either. It's just your Tableau server is trying to cache these views. So a couple of different options. One, in this article, it kind of walks you through how to actually fix that. So you can have it to be, you can take it off the balance. If you can scroll down, Heather, a little bit. Actually, I'm not sure if you're showing your, so the window's hiding it. But so this whole refresh less often. So that will actually make it, make it be actually live every time. So that's the piece right there. The other option right there above it, you can also, if your views are embedded in a web page, you can also pass in the whole refresh equals Y piece as well. That way the users don't have to do it manually. So those are the two things to try. And if that doesn't work, then I guess just send us something else and we'll try to help. But I would bet that's the problem.
That's great. Thanks so much, Chris. So I'm going to hand this over. I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now. And I'm actually going to hand it over to all of you on the call right now. We do have some content that we can cover, but we'd love to know if you all have your own question that you want to ask live today. If you do, this is a chance to come off mute and let us know what those questions are. I'm also going to be sending out a poll to you all about just topics you'd like us to cover, that just areas that you want to know more about or you've struggled with, so we can continue to build content for each month with it. but I'll pause for a second. And if anybody is interested in asking us a question live, just unmute. Oh, great. Welcome, Kelsey. So let's make sure you get off mute. There you go. All right.
I totally have a question.
We are totally excited to answer it. So
excellent. And I wore my Tableau shirt today
look
because
at you.
That'll help, I think.
I will use my Tableau coffee mug that I have often to try and, just bring in the good Tableau energy. So I love your in your shirt.
Exactly. Yes. So I have a question on, this feels like it should be something super simple and I'm struggling to figure it out. So I have a situation, we sell products A through Z, and some of those products go through one system, some of those products go through another system, some of those products go through both systems. Mm. I want to be able to pull out if product A is in both systems. I want to be able to pull out everything for that product, but be able to compare it for both. And there are new things being added all the time. So I tried doing a set based on if, system A equals A, and it didn't quite work. Does that question make sense?
Chris.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see if we can let's see if we can kind of do a quick mock-up of it. Let me just share my screen. We'll just kind of cheat here. We'll kind of make up some data. So, like for example, if we had said, we'll just say this is system 1 and this one is system 2, right? So we have different actually sets of data. So we have product, I guess product number or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, product, and then we'll just say, I don't know what. So in system, so I guess product A, B, C, and then in product we'll have C, D, E. So C exists here and exists here, but the other ones don't. Is that fair?
Correct.
Okay. And then I'm assuming we'll just put some measure in here. We'll just do sales ran between TWN, can't spell, 20 and 500. Not spell it right. In between. This is not working. Oh, it should be a comma, not a. Okay, so just some random numbers. And do the same thing over here, just so we have something. Okay. Okay. All right. So if we're going to do this in Tableau, for some reason Tableau is not showing. I don't know where it is on my screen.
Yeah, I had to just reinstall one of my Tableau versions today, Chris. I was having a weird issue with mine too.
It was here. Like I just had it. It's not opening. I don't know where it is. Let me just try. I'm gonna try to open up some workbook. I don't know what's going on. It's not coming up on my screen.
You want me to open it on mine, Chris, and you just take over? Okay.
I got to make this work. This is
the beauty of live, right? We just never know. So
it's more fun this way.
It is, right?
This is like real life.
It is. It is real life.
So let's just do.
Hey, Kelsey, I'm proud of you for even coming on camera too. Sometimes we can't get people to come off mute and they're just chatting. You came off mute and you did video, and I love it. So, but no one else has to feel pressured. If you have other questions after Kelsey's is answered, you can just come off mute and if you'd like. But I was stoked to see you came off. There we go.
So just for a goof, I'm gonna save this sheet down we just built. This one.
And Chris, in my data, all of the data is in one table. I don't know if that.
Okay. Well, that's what. Well, then if that's the case, then so okay. If it's in one table, then you have system, right?
Yes, correct.
So system 1, 1, 1, and then system 2, 2, 2, and we'll just do it that way then. That makes it even
Awesome.
easier. Okay. All right. So, okay. So now you have both of those things. So now we can do it. This will just be really simple now. So we just copy this and throw this into Tableau. I don't know if you know this or not, but you can just copy from your clipboard and you can paste. So that pretty
No
easy.
way.
Oh yeah. So that's a little tip.
Magic.
And then,
Cool.
and what you need to do when you do this, it goes right in. But then go ahead and do an extract of it. So that kind of makes it so that way it saves, because as soon as you clear that, like a clip board, it's gonna actually go away. Anyway, okay, so now we have your data in here.
So let's pause for a second, Chris, and honor the Tableau tip that you just did. So you can take an Excel spreadsheet, copy the data that you want, paste it, do a Control-C, Control-V for a PC. I don't know about a Mac with that, and I think it's Command for that. And then you do an extract of the data so it's saved. So I just want everybody to that's a trick that you don't always know about. So
copy that. This is the fastest way to get in some test data. I'll close this one out. I'll do it again because I found an error anyway. So I'm just going to paste it in there. It's going to come in as a clipboard. So the first thing I want to do is extract that data set. So now it's all here. But as you see, it's going to sum up my all my stuff. Why is that? Oh yeah, because it's double. Okay. So now I want to take my system and I turn that into to a dimension, because system is either 1 or 3, I guess I chose. Okay. So 1 or actually 3 is my different system. And then your products are A, B, and C, right? So what you want to know is what exists in both. So this one exists in both, right? So now I've got, sales for C is here.
Correct. So I want to be able to, as new products are added, I want Tableau to automatically be able to show me like for C, but also because I need to be able to understand, what's being sold through system 1 versus system 3. So product C comes in, new product comes in, they're selling out of both systems. What is that adoption rate across the systems?
Yeah. So what I think I would do it like this, because that way it gives you the full count, so now I've got, actually I'll do it with this, at a reference line, some constant, some, and value, another line, and I'll get rid of these. So now we have your total. So your 475, and you can see that it's partly in this system, partly in that one. So that gives you your total. And now it would all automatically do that.
So how would I be able to show, if I only want to see, so this is, the business case would be people who are developing these systems, they only need to know about products that are in both systems. Okay. They don't really care about product A, B, D, and E because that's not their problem. That's somebody else's problem to worry about. So on product C, how do I only show those that are in both?
So then I would do this. I would say it would be count distinct of system would tell you that. So now I can tell you that product C is in two actually systems.
And then just essentially build a calculation, and if system distinct count is greater than 1, then show.
Now I can do this, and I can make this be a filter. So if I say, okay, well, that one is in both. So if you wanted to see those, so I'm sure I'm sure there's better ways to do it, but that would be the first thing I would do. So if you use count the number of systems and say anything that's in 2, or you could even make this to be probably even be like this whole filter. So I want to see the ones that are in 2, right? So I make this global, and I can say, okay, well, only show me. Actually, I gotta do it better than that. Edit filter. You can say at least 2, right? And that's going to get you down to just the 1, right? So if they only want to see that, you could do it like that. Just have them some sort of a drag once you go the full way, but that would be it.
Okay.
Great question.
Solve it?
Yeah, I can get on board with that. Thank you.
That's great, Kelsey. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right.
Who else?
So I'm waiting for other questions. I'm looking at the chat. I don't see anyone else with one. Oh, great.
Can you hear me?
I can't. I've got Clay coming on, and I also hear, is it
Roberta?
Roberta. So Roberta, I'm going to go ahead and take Clay first because he's got his video on, and then we'll come back to you, Roberta. Okay, so Clay, it looks like you may not be in Colorado with that background. So how are you doing?
Good. Can you hear me okay? I've had a little trouble with my microphone recently, so is it working?
We hear you great. And then Roberta, we're going to come to you next. So what's your question, Clay?
Well, mine, I think Chris already knows what my question is going to be, but so publishing publishing data sources to Tableau server and updating those data sources, kind of a best practice for that. What where should they live? Should it be an extract or live or what have you?
Yeah. So so with that, so there, and just to kind of catch everybody up, so your option is, if you want to, like, say for example, this data source we have right here. So I could do these calculations that I have in here, and then I could actually save that to the server. I can right click on this and say I want to publish this actually the data source up to the server, right? So that will be fine, and so that's useful when we so it's actually useful for two reasons. One is if you have a lot of calculations and you have multiple users using the same data source, and you don't want them to have to rewrite all the calculations, then yeah, that's really handy. Or if you say, you know what, we actually don't want to give users access to the actual database, we want to give them access to this like subset. So those are kind of the main reasons why you want to do that. And here, I'll go ahead and publish just so you can see how it's going to look. So it's going to change from an extract here. We'll leave it that same thing. That's fine. So I'm going to publish. I'm going to schedule any refresh, and then it's going to switch out. And so it's publishing to my other screen. Let me pull this over so you can see. So it's published up here. Okay. Mac doesn't let you drag over top of the windows. Anyway, so published up here. So now, which is great, because then you have your published data source. You can do your ask actually data piece, which is nice. That's actually really kind of cool to have this. And so then now, if I wanted to connect to that same data source, I could go to new data source, Tableau server up here now, removes only, and then I could go to that one. So clipboard. There it is. So I can actually connect to that from here. So now we have this different icon. So that would be the process that you would do. Now, what I have actually found is if you can, so if it's that you have one data source and a lot of workbooks are using it, or a lot of users are using it, then having it published to the server could be useful. But if it's not that many, you're actually better off just actually leaving it as an extract on the workbook. And so instead of doing this, go ahead and close this one out. And so if I was to publish this whole workbook up to the server, then actually that's going to be faster. So what I have found is, even though it is an extract sitting on the server, if you have the extract tied to the workbook, it seems like you faster to me. There's probably no documentation that says exactly that, but that's just my experience. So pretty much, unless I have a specific reason to publish to the server, I actually do it like this. The other thing that this makes it nice for is, let's say, for example, actually, let me do something real quick. Let me just, I'm just going to create a quick calc. So let's just say, count system. Okay, I spell it right. Okay, so here's our count system. So now this is here. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually publish this up to the server. So if I publish this up to the server again, now so something that I don't love, and this is something that actually drives me crazy. So if I had this workbook and I had it using that same data source. So if I was using this data source, and I said, you know what, this like system count needs to actually change. Well, now I don't have the ability to edit anymore. So it gives me edit copy. And so for me, like changing calculations, that actually takes more time. So now I've got to go and download this data source. I've got to go reconnect to it to do my edits. So unless something is fully baked out and I know that my calculations are golden, then having the data source actually just takes up more time for me to make things happen. So that's kind of the short of it. Does that help you, Clay? And I know it's not giving you a
it does, but then I guess the question is, when you do the data, or when you republish the data source, is there a way to append that data in, or do you have to just append it on the master and then republish? Because
so you're saying, okay, so you're saying that you're like a data does an update, but the Tableau server doesn't have access to that data source?
Well, so I published it, but then when I try to republish, I either have to do the entire data set again. I can't seem to do any appends. And when I do that, that's like error prone, and I lose even if the name of the field is still correct, I end up having to remap that field after I do the publish. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would have to actually see it. So when you have new data, so is this coming in a CSV or something? Is that the reason why?
It's actually pulling in from 4 or 5 different data sources, getting engineered and then published up. So it's going through, and actually I create it as a .hyper file. And typically what I'll do is I'll actually have Tableau Prep push it for me, just so that it's one set.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I would probably have to look at what you're doing exactly. There's probably some steps you can do to kind of make that be actually seamless. But yeah, so if you're using Tableau Prep for all that, I mean, there are some wonky things in the whole Tableau Prep. So we're in the process of actually trying out this whole harmonizer kind of product. Where there's just like a group that we're actually paired up with, who has a patented technology that basically does a lot of the stuff that Prep does, but it actually makes it so it kind of spits it out into this database. So we're gonna try that out as well, because I mean, I think that Prep is great. It's awesome and it's free, but there are some things that it doesn't do exactly how I would want them to happen. So.
All right. Hey, Chris, we've got some other questions coming in, which is awesome. Roberta, let's go to you next. And then I have 2 questions that are coming in through chat that we'll go to after that. So go ahead, Roberta.
Hi there, this is Roberta. I have a workbook that's got a lot of visualizations on it, but one particular visualization is just a line chart. And it's got 2 different data points, and I've got parameters that allow me to switch which measure is being represented, but also the kind of time frame, in other words, year, month, week, day. I need to put annotations on a couple of points, and I need those annotations to be retained between the different things that I select with parameters. I cannot figure out how I can do that with putting the annotations on and getting them retained across all the parameter selections.
Okay.
I can demo it if you want me to.
Yeah. Can you just show that to me? I mean, it works for me trying to rebuild it really quick. You share your screen.
Okay. So let me know once you can see it.
Yep, I got it.
So here you can see I've got this yellow bar here, and I've got two annotations. When I click on, I can go over here, and I want to now select on the delivered count. My annotations go away. And I need to retain the annotations for that same date point. So when I go, and I also, it does the same thing. So if I go over here and if I stay on kilometers delivered, there's my annotations. But now if I go in my filters and I select that I only want to see external, my annotations go away. So one stays, but it's kind of hanging out at the top. The other one you can't see at all. So the requirement is that they want the annotations to stay on that particular date. And even if we collapse it to week or year, they still want to see that annotation. And I've been trying a whole variety of things, and I just can't get it to work based on the requirements of my end user.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is what I would do is this. Here, let me actually share my screen. I'll show you a couple different things. So, and I may have shown this last time too, but I think it's a good example. How I've actually done this in the actually past is actually, well, first off, don't use so if you can so if you make it so that you don't use annotations, because I mean those are going to be tied to your data point. So what I would use is probably like a dual axis. So have your comments. I'm just going to try to do it really quick. See if I can do it real quick. Let's see. Let's just do order date, sales. We'll do a line by month and year. All right. So okay, here's this one. So what I would do is this: I would say, okay, I'm going to have another one that's going to be right here behind it. So it's going to fit right there behind it. And so instead of doing, so this first one will be the one that changes out your measure. And then you have one that sits here behind, and I'll just make that one into a bar so we can see it. But it sits here behind it. We'll do something. Let's move these around. There we go. So the bar is set behind. So if on your bar you have actually labels that would happen. So then this is not really shown. You're just showing the line in front, but you're tying labels to that bar behind. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So instead of annotating one point, which I think is going to be tied to that one point. So when you change your data set out with your parameter, then you're going to lose that point because it's not really there anymore. Versus if your parameter just changed the line, but this bar stays, then you can always have that here. And actually, I'd probably do it like this. I'd probably just do it as like a 1, make up a new like do like a 1 or something like this. And your second one would just be let's do minimum. So that way this always sits here, right? So now that's going to always be static, and we could synchronize access and make it small. So now I can have labels go on this chart, and let's just put, we'll put region. That's not what we want, but on our bar. I'm just going to put something on here to show up. It's not gonna. Oops, wrong one. This one. It's going to be overlapping. But anyway, so if I had, so I mean, I don't know if I put on everything, but I mean now that these would kind of show up in a line. So if I had them, where you actually read something, you know, they would kind of always be here. So if this point had some annotation, it would just be kind of aligned with it. Does that make sense?
I'm not sure that's because I need to do it. So if I select it on a particular, because it's based on a date. So as of February 25th, this happened.
All right. Let's just do one real quick. So let's see.
Because they're trying to, and we're trying to explain why this peak or valley happened, and so we have these points that we want to reference.
Yeah, and so here, let me actually do this really quick. Let's just cheat. Here, I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna go to Excel. I'm gonna use our little, we don't need system 2 anymore. Paste all of our dates. Okay, so let's just say we have a annotation. Okay, so if you have another data set, this happened. Something else. Yeah. Wow, this is good. Okay. All right. So now I have this other actually the data set. So now if I go over to here, go back to Tableau, we'll do our same trick that we just did of pasting in this data set. So now I have something tied to these dates, right?
Okay.
Go ahead and extract it. And so now I think so it will be actually but best if I did this join, but I don't actually have to. I can just do it like this. So now I can blend this one in. I got to do month of order date because it's not the same. I should have done it. Let's see, order date. Let's just try that. Name. Order date, and make that be a change data type to, I think it's just date. There we go. Okay, good. Okay, so now I can now put this on my label. Okay, so now those actually show up. So I have my data on the different data sorts. So it actually always sticks. Does that make sense?
Okay. That's a good idea.
Yeah. And so some about this is really cool. Is that you know, because you're not really tying the annotation to a mark in your dashboard. You're actually tying it to some set of data. So now you keep this history. So now in like 5 years you still have it. Versus what's going to happen with your annotation is it's going to kind of like, you know, kind of phase out.
Okay.
Okay. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
All
I'm going to give that a try. Thank you so much.
All right. So Chris, we have several questions coming in, but Beamson has to leave here shortly. So we're going to have him go next. And I'm so sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right. So go ahead, Beamson.
No, you got it. Thank you. Almost.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Chris. I attended the last month's meeting and I asked about some administration question. So this time it's about subscriptions. So can I share my screen?
Absolutely. Chris, there you go. You should see the share screen button at the bottom. Yep, perfect.
Okay, so here is, I see some subscriptions in our...
Gibson, we're only seeing a black screen. It says it started screen sharing. Unless, are you seeing it, Chris? Okay, there we go. Now we've got it, yeah.
Okay, so this is in the Tableau server. So, you know, we have some subscriptions that are failing like this. And when they fail after 2-3 times, they go into suspended mode, as you know. And the trick thing is we have schedules, and they're in each schedule, right? So at the schedule level, I cannot resume a subscription. For example, let's go to this one. So here, So this is a schedule, and you have this only for subscriptions. And you see all this suspended.
Yep.
Each one, click here and resume subscription. So if I have tons of them, like thousands, this is not a good way of doing it. Like, every time I'd go resume subscription. So I thought about using REST API scripts. So let me show the REST API thing here. So I found this on the REST API Python documentation that I can get subscription, get by ID and all those things. So I see that there is some flag suspended equal to, I can put false. That means it will resume. But if I have thousands and thousands, I don't want to do which is not failed. So when I ran the sample script just to get the subscriptions, so it gives me a format in this way. So like, it gives me subscription number, subject, schedule ID, user ID, target, but it doesn't give me a suspended mode here. I don't know whether it's suspended or not. So do you guys have any idea how to do this Python script? Because I don't want to reinvent the wheel. If you have something, a Python script for REST API, where I can use it frequently and then resume the suspended jobs. I mean, subscription ones.
No, we so I mean, no, we don't actually don't have anything for that.
Your voice is breaking up.
Sorry. Yeah, no, we so there's actually no. I mean, there's no actually script that I have that actually does this. So this is so I think probably 95% of our clients don't even use subscriptions. And the main reason is because they actually use the backgrounder object. So a lot of times that if you have a whole lot of subscriptions, then then you have other things that are failing. So it's more important to have your extracts do a refresh versus having somebody get some subscription. So I think I think the Archie clients don't even use them. But
okay, yeah, this is through the refresh jobs. So like every at this schedule, this every 10 a.m. Pacific time, it will run the job. But if you see, only the successful ones will be rerun. If it is suspended, it will not pick up those anymore. And if it is failed, it will try and it will eventually go to suspended mode. So that's what's happening. So manually, I have to go into each one and do this. So like click here and do that, which is tedious job, but I just want to use through the script.
Yeah. I think you're actually right. I think your whole Python script should actually work. It's just a matter of piecing through and finding out which ones are actually turned off. The other thing too is, I mean, if you want them all to be enabled, I mean, you probably could just run it for all and not have to find the ones that are suspended, because I don't think it's going to hurt anything to actually re-enable one that's still running. I mean, I don't think it's going to do anything to it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. And then we have another question from Stephen. Chris, in the chat, in the Slack channel under training questions, I tagged you with Stephen's question. I thought that might be easier to find than scrolling through. And he's looking if you can do this with totals in a table view. He's looking at average across, sum down, and then he has some data with the product, the October, November, December, and total numbers. So I don't know if the copy and paste kind of messed things up a bit, but that should be right in the Slack channel under training questions.
Yeah, I got that. Let's see how it pastes in. We'll just give it a shot.
And while you're doing that, I do want to let people know, we will be saving this TWIBIX file, and we'll make sure to publish this. That was one of the questions in chat too. So we'll make sure to save everything we've covered. And
here's our data. We need, so I'm assuming that these are just coming in. These are things we don't need. They'll be actually derived, right? So we have different months. Is this accurate?
Stephen, if you want to come off mute, you could let us know.
Yeah, hi. Thanks. First of all, thank you. And yeah, I just wrote this up in Excel real quick so I could have like a little table. But what it would be is that total number that wouldn't be part of the data set either. So when you would do, yeah, exclude. So when you added totals to this, on the bottom of it, I'm looking for sum, and then on the right hand side or left hand side, whatever you want to, however you're looking at it, have it be the average across the month.
Got it. Okay, I see what you're saying. So, oh, it's not going to let me do that because of these. Let's do it. If you can know you can do this, by the way. So even your clipboard data, I'm going to pivot it, so that way we have our dates, month, and then change this to value. And totals. We'll leave it in there for now. Okay. All right. So that's going to pivot our data for us. Break
Yeah. And the actual data coming across wouldn't have totals in it. It would just be the straight numbers.
I was just going to.
That makes sense.
Table data. All right. Okay. So we've got month. We've got our value, and we have product. Okay. So now we have that and totals. So we don't have this one. So go away. Exclude. So we don't have that. Okay. So that gives us our total going down for those.
Right. And then have her go average across the month on the other side.
Let's see here. Know if you can do that. Just gonna do
Yeah, I figured it'd be not at this time.
That's what Steven said in chat.
Yeah, in the next release, maybe. Yeah.
Well, I mean, so what I would do is actually this is I don't think you can do it just like you're wanting in one table.
Yeah.
But what you could do is actually this. This is something that we do like a lot of. Let's just take this off for a second. Get rid of those. So let's just do a new. So this is
And then just have two tables, and
yep.
One be an average and one be a sum. Yeah.
And then just do that. That would be your way to do it. Oh, you know what? The other thing I'm going to try real quick. I wonder if we can do.
Have two texts right next to each other, and one be an average, one be a sum.
That would be that'd be the thought. That's not what you want either, but well, I mean, what I was going to do is this. I was going to take it and just make this the average, across.
Yeah.
And then so now we can do totals. So that's our average. We can do that, or you can take out the product actually. Might make this even actually simpler. Let's take this out. That gives us our average across all those. So now we can say, let me get rid of this. We don't need that either. So that's what we need. And now we just put this in some dashboard, and just
and just have it across. Yeah, I gotcha.
Have it actually here next to it.
Yeah, that might work.
So that would be an answer.
Kind of a little Tableau hack there.
Yeah.
Not elegant, but gets you what you need. So yeah, that's great.
Okay. All right.
Thanks so much, Stephen. And Anastasia, I think you had a question going back to Kelsey's example. So if you want to come off mute, we can hear what you have to ask.
All right.
We'll see.
I'm not going to do that.
We are. Anastasia, I don't know if you might be the phone call. Let me try to unmute that for you too. There we go. Yeah. So, all right, Anastasia, tell us your question about Kelsey's example. So it would be that products in two systems one.
Yeah. Kelsey's case made me think of my forever ago question that I wasn't able to resolve still. Maybe I can share my screen and show the use case for it.
Absolutely. Chris, if you'll stop sharing your screen, we'll give Anastasia a chance.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to make this thing neat. So
You will. I know you will.
stop and share.
All right.
So let me see. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
We are.
Cool. Okay. So the data is really simple. It pretty much shows, so here I have the Excel. So sales by product and by date. So notice that product B was sold in August and July, and some inventory that goes along by a product. So notice that product B with 3,000 units on hand had 0 sales. So now I go to Tableau, I join it using relationships, and then I line up units on hand, sales, and made it super easy, calculated fields asking what I sold versus what I have on hand, and call it sell through. Now here's the conundrum that I'm getting. If I'm asking now, okay, if I only need sales from last month, like what was my sell through? What was my sell through last month? So I use the date filter on that. And for instance, I know it's only 2 months, so I can do month year. And if I use last month as a filter, see what happens. For whatever reason, I lose product A completely.
Can you go back to your data set? Oh, okay, I see it. So yeah, so product A. So why, I don't know why you're not losing product B too, because it's in something doesn't make sense. Here, let's do this real quick. Can you actually drag your date to the rows?
Absolutely.
And then you can make that
So
exact date.
exact date.
And then in the street. Okay. So product B, you have 2 actually dates for it. So that one is in actually July as well. So that actually makes sense. So the data that you're showing behind isn't actually matching up with this data here, or I guess maybe that's your join. So yeah, so that actually makes sense. So when you have that filter, you're getting rid of product A because you didn't have any sales in that month.
So I guess my question would be how to retain units, because this is today's units, and only keep the sales from July, for instance.
So you want the sales to be for all months?
Yeah. So the business question here is how much in sales we did on this specific product in July, while still having units on hand in the view.
Okay. Well, you could. So okay. So all right. So you want your stick. So tell me which number you want to stick around.
I want the units on hand to stick around. Yep.
You want the units on hand to stick around. Well,
yep.
So I think the problem is, and I think it's kind of the same as the last issue, is that your is that you probably shouldn't do this in one graph, right? Because if you're going to filter out and you only have one date that you're filtering on, right? So you're actually filtering on sales, and then you have this joined to it. So if it's filtered that way, I mean, your on hand doesn't really go by a date, right? So really, you only want your sales to filter, not your actual units.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Let me kind of think through it for a second. Yeah, I think the problem is you can't. So I think the thing is you're actually joined. So because your units on hand is going to be a different date.
So I didn't put any dates for inventory.
Right.
It's just a time point in time. It shouldn't matter how the sales.
Yeah, but well, no. So it doesn't. So yeah, your date's not on that. But when you joined it, it actually is. Here, actually, click right here. Click this little data window, and then show all data. Oh, this is the whole relationship. Yeah, it's not showing you the join. Well, I mean, so yeah, that doesn't do it for you.
So it's actually not doing a join, it's using relationships. And so I don't know if that's one of the issues as well, Chris, if we need to be double click in to do the join.
Yeah, no, it's still the same thing. So yeah, even though you don't have a date in your inventory section, but when you did the relationship or really the join, it's the same thing. You're actually basically tying a date to that product because you're saying this actually product matches, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
so we could do this. Let's see here. Here, can I just actually drive for a second? Let me just try something. Let me just try one thing really quick. So
Sure.
one of the things, let's see if this will work. Actually, I'm just gonna, so some units on hand. Where's my, here it is. Okay. Let's just create actually a field. Let's do units on hand total. So let's do a fixed calculation on all, and then some units on hand. So let's try that. And so let's put that in your values. So that's going to give us, oh, sorry. Where'd it go? Here it is. So fixed on product. Product inventory. There we go. Okay.
There you go.
Now if we do, I think, so show filter. So if I take out July, these numbers should still be this. Well, still doing it. Thought that would get rid of, let's try to change it to, that's still not right, because it should be, so we want this to be 4,000. Let's take out date right here. Why is that only showing, oh. Hold on, so is this the right number? Is it actually 2,000?
Or is it 4,000? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. So that's still doing the same thing. It's not doing any favors. But so what you're saying is that even if you took out the July sale, you still want to see this actual unit. So even though it was 0, you still want to see the 1,500.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just so the business impact is that I know that I'm sitting on X number of inventory that didn't show sales in July.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like the data. I mean, I think it's a data structure problem. So I don't think that I think you can't join it the way you've got it done and really tell that same story.
Okay.
Actually, think about it for kind of a bit, and we'll. Do we actually have your email address? So
Yeah.
if you can send us that, I can kind of.
Anastasia, why don't you, I know you have my email address, but I'll put my
Yeah.
email in, and why don't you go ahead and send me the data set, And then we will try to answer that, and we'll send an email out to the group and let people know. We are working on a solution to start being able to post the videos and things onto our website. We just don't have that worked out just yet with Kevin. But I will just go ahead and email me the mock data set, and then we'll play with this a little bit more and do that. So. It's a good problem for us to keep noodling on. So yeah,
Thank you.
of course. So we have 5 minutes left in the call. So I just wanted to know if anyone else has a question. Chris can answer about client using before. Okay, so I'm seeing a question from Becky. Becky, do you want to come off mute and go ahead and ask that? One of the clients would like to keep it so that he can compare before and after, is what I'm seeing from Becky via email. Is that something you'd like to talk about, Becky?
Yeah, and I don't know, can you hear me?
Yep, we sure can.
Okay, I don't know if this is something that's really a Tableau thing or not, but we have these wonderful pay equity reports, and the client wants to make wants to keep a copy of what it looks like now, because the next time they're going to make changes to their data, and they're going to put that in, and it's going to update the report because it runs live on the Tableau server. So other than just taking a PDF download of the dashboard, is there any other way that you can recommend for being able to keep a before and after for their, their board and stuff like that?
So is it? I mean, so is it changing the actual data, or is it actually new data that's coming in?
It's new data, and so we'll change all of the calculations and all.
Oh, well, I mean, okay, so it's not new data that's just the same. It's new data that's brand new calculations and everything.
Oh no. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, it's like if you were comparing the pay of women to the pay of men, and you got a result, and then they made some changes to the pay for women, and so all the data comes in, and it's going to calculate a new difference between the pay of men and pay of women. He wants to be able to compare what it was before with what it is now.
So I think that like so I think kind of in like a perfect world, what it should be is that your system should keep keep that old data set. So but I kind of assume what's happening is all these changes he's making in your system, and so your system is not retaining the old data set, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, so if your system actually retained it, then it would be simple. You would just have some toggle to say, okay, well, as of a certain date, this is what was happening, and then I mean, I think that would make sense. I mean, I don't know. So I'm assuming that your system doesn't track that. So
okay.
If it doesn't do that, then the only other option is just to create, or just actually save it down, or maybe like publish that data source as like something that's actually timed. So if you say, okay, well, this is the data source as of right now, so just publish as an extract, and then just don't refresh it. So then you could make another workbook that goes off that history.
We had a suggestion, Chris, from one of our one of our clients on the call, that he was saying, I think you'd have to build an audit table of your data to build Tableau off of. What do you think of that idea? Or
yeah, I think it's I was hoping there was something other than just downloading it to a PDF or something other that, but it's clear it's in our side on the underlying data. Okay. I just
Sorry.
wanted to ask since.
No problem.
It's a great question though, Becky. I get questions sometimes in class too, that when you're running on a live data connection, that history, you know, being lost. So I know that has come up before. So I am so excited that we had so many questions today. Sometimes you guys are quiet on the call and we have content that we have prepared in advance to cover, but this is the point of these Tableau Live calls. And so we are going to be using the same Zoom meeting invite. So it will be the same login and things. We'll send out our monthly emails, but keep your questions coming. And remember, if you do have questions, let me pull them up. You can give them to us throughout and we'll go ahead and answer them during the next Tableau Live. But let me just pull up this for you all, and I'll put this in the chat. You can always go to boulderinsight.com questions. I'll share my screen and show you what that looks like. And you can always put in your Tableau questions and we'll do our best to answer them on our next Tableau Live. If we can't answer a question that comes up, you'll send us our data and we'll noodle on it a bit more and see if we can come up with a solution too. So happy Friday, everyone. Again, if you do have deeper questions and bigger questions, the other thing I did want to point out is if you go to boulderinsight.com, you're going to notice there's this little button down here that says Ask a Tableau Mentor. That gets you time directly on Chris's calendar. If it's a 15-minute question, you can do that for free, but sometimes you have deeper questions and we need to see your data and you don't want to share that on Tableau Live. Know that you can schedule time with Chris, an hour or more, whatever you need. You would pay for that time, but we could help you get to those answers quicker when we are able to have some access to your data. If we need to sign an NDA or anything before that, we can always do that as well. But it has been a joy to have another Tableau Live session with you all. We'll see you next month on the first Friday of the month as well with this same, we'll be using this same Zoom room going forward. So thanks everybody for joining us. It was fun to have you all participating and having questions, and we look forward to next month. So take care everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.